For over a century, the Royal Manitoba Winter Fair has been the agricultural cornerstone of our community. From the beginning, it represented an energetic spirit that had developed on the Canadian prairies following the late 1880s. And in putting together this exhibition, the people of Western Manitoba would seek to harness that energy. My name is Shaun Cameron, and I'm a filmmaker and avid amateur historian from Brandon, Manitoba. As a lifelong resident of the Wheat City, I've had the unique opportunity to visit the Royal Manitoba Winter Fair every year for close to 40 years, and have developed a keen interest in the history of the show, where it found its humble beginnings, and how it all comes together. As part of telling this story, I plan to learn from the competitors, visit with the organizers, and talk with officials in the community about the level of impact an event like the fair has on our city.
Every year we thrive to go to that show. We push ourselves to make sure we work ponies all winter long to get to the Winter Fair.
I consider it the best show probably in Western Canada.
You've just got such a great wealth of horsemen up here. You've got guys that are professional horsemen. And when those guys are professionals and then their job is to produce horses, they're phenomenal.
And I think that's part of our attraction in the community. It's about the collective memories of the family.
Growing up in rural Manitoba, the Winter Fair was the highlight of our spring break and always made for a fun week in the dirt. My hope is to take you on a journey from the show's humble beginnings to the mega event of the present. This is the Road to the Royal. I felt the best place to begin telling this story was to hit the road and get to know some of the competitors coming to the 2016 Royal Manitoba Winter Fair. With help from the staff of the provincial exhibition, I had a competitors list and was ready to hit the road. Our first trip will take us to visit with 19-year-old Nicole Panna of Wood Mountain, Saskatchewan. Panna is already a barrel racing champion in her own right, but is preparing to make her first trip to the Royal Manitoba Winter Fair.
I got into barrel racing when I was 7 years old. It was just one day at school, to be honest with you. I just was swinging on a swing, I remember, and was like, I want to be a barrel racer, I think. And I came home and told Mom and Dad, and they were kind of like, well, we don't really have a horse for you, Nicole. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to go pick this one. So I just went out to the pasture, basically, picked a horse. She was this big 18-hand horse. Her name was Freckles. She was a big sorrel. And my dad had raised her as a colt. So we just kind of grabbed her and saddled her up. I went into my indoor arena out back there and just kind of trotted around and then kind of loped it. And she basically started it, and that's how I fell in love with it. When I was at school, it was in June, and Wood Mountain Rodeo is the second weekend of July every year. It's always been the second weekend. I think I was just kind of thinking about the rodeo is how I remember it, and then I just kind of thought, you know, I want to someday run in that rodeo. I want to be able to enter that rodeo and run in it and support my hometown. At a rodeo, as a competitor, you know, you kind of get excited more so because you can hear all the crowd. Like, I can hear the crowd, and right before I let her go, or let my horse go, I can hear what the announcer's saying about me and stuff, and it kind of makes you feel special, kind of, because it's like they're talking you up, and you're like, yeah, that's me that they're talking about, almost. They make you feel really good about yourself, and that's what keeps you going. When things get tough, that's what keeps me going. Is, you know, those fans, those people that, you know, cheer me on, and they, you know, during my run and stuff. And I know as soon as I let my horse go and all of that blanks out, But then as soon as I'm heading for the home stretch, then all of a sudden I can hear it all again. Everybody's just screaming and cheering, and the announcer's talking me up, and I can hear all of that. And so as a competitor, it's really important to us, you know, to have those fans there and have those people come and watch.
That fan and competitor interaction has always been paramount to experiencing the provincial exhibition, as was evident from the earliest days of the city of Brandon. Our history shows there was clearly a tie to agriculture. Nestled in the fertile soil along the Assiniboine River, the city was a welcome home to those seeking a new life, and the prairies in and around Brandon would be the ideal location for that newfound sense of optimism. The city would thrive due to bountiful farming opportunities, and it would take little time before an ever-growing agricultural and cattle community would spring up as a result of that forward-thinking spirit. The first of many agricultural exhibitions would happen a mere 5 months after the city was incorporated. Fairs became increasingly important to promote the skills needed to thrive in such a harsh and sometimes unforgiving climate, and events like the early exhibitions allowed for the knowledge base of the region to grow exponentially. From their humble beginnings, by the late 1800s, the number of people attending the provincial exhibition had taken off. As they would usher in the early 20th century, sporting events would be added to augment the already fantastic shows. Baseball and lacrosse were early examples of the type of entertainment the board of the provincial exhibition would add in an attempt to augment the already boisterous seed and livestock show. The fair was and always has been about the experience, and even then, in their earliest incarnation, they brought together people to learn and interact with agriculture in our community. Our next stop on the road to the Royal was to visit with Bob Scott of Alexander, Manitoba. Bob and his wife Jane show hackney ponies at the fair, and he credits his involvement with the sport to an evening visiting with a friend of his at the show many years ago.
Actually, I got into hackney ponies from Lloyd Mini from Kemney, Manitoba. Just one night, he asked if I was interested in buying one, and I did, and I've seen him show for years, so yeah, he's the main reason I got into them. Now my wife Jane, she drives. My mom was her first year was driving at Winter Fair this year. Myself, I've been driving for many years. We have now our junior driver Brianna. She's also from really good friends of ours. So between all of us, everyone's kind of coming together. My aunt, my cousins, they all came out this year. Now they're also getting into it. They really enjoyed coming out and helping. So hopefully we can get more people driving for next year.
As Bob Scott mentioned, it's about increasing the participation year to year. As a family friend of the Scotts, 16-year-old Brianna Luke is preparing to make her sophomore visit to the Winter Fair. From Sanford, Manitoba, Luke competes in the Hunter Jumper class and credits her ability to show at such a high level to the involvement of her family.
Basically, I got involved through my sister, who was a coach. She spent Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays and Sundays at the barn. So every time she'd coach, I began getting in the routine of going with her and riding almost every day since then. I get to shows and have what I have is from my family. So when I first started, everything I had was my sister's. It kind of got passed over to me. Remember this one at Marcy at Derby?
Brianne will be done school, and then she walks in the door and, "Mom, let's go to the barn. Are you ready? Let's go." And off we go to the barn, usually around 4, and sometimes we come home at 9 or 10. And then the next day it starts all over again, and the weekend she's up first thing to go to the barn, and off we go, and then most of the day we're there till usually the barn closing at 7. My favorite memory was actually at the Royal Manitoba Winter Fair when I came to
do my one class, and my horse was lying down, and I went to go get a few pictures of him, and I crawled right by his side, and he decided to put his head right on my lap, and he's got such a character, and we really developed a bond, and he's almost like my little puppy. It's like I just go to the barn and I feel relieved. Like, it's not really something that I satisfy as work or something, it's what I enjoy. So going there is kind of just a pleasure to my day.
I'm heading down to the Provincial Exhibition of Manitoba offices to check in with Marketing Director Karen Burton to see how the planning for this year's event is going. So we're 4 months out now from the show. Obviously, it's starting to pick up speed. It's starting to get busier by the day. How's 2016 Royal Manitoba Winter Fair shaping up?
2016 is really coming along. We find this time of year, it's a big push to get everything done before we take a bit of a break at Christmas time. And then back in January, we're full on. So we're booking entertainments, our registration is open, our entries are open for our horse show. A big push on marketing right now. Our advance tickets are available, so we want to get that out to the public. It's always we always say that our fair is such a tradition, so it's a great idea to get tickets for the family. So we want to make sure we've got that available for Christmas, and yeah, just lots going on. It seems like we just flow right into March at this time of year.
Do you find that it becomes a bit of a blur day to day leading up to the show?
It does. I'm the type of person where I have everything detailed. I write down every single thing I do every day and everything I need to do for the next day, and track everything, because there's so many details. We always say there's so many moving parts in the fair, and that's so true. There's so many things going on and tiny little details to remember when you're looking at bringing in 110,000 people. Over the 6 days, there's certainly lots of little logistic items that often will get forgotten or just overlooked, or you think somebody else is doing it. So it's really important to be keeping track of all those details at this point.
One of the biggest challenges Burton and her team face is blending the business aspects of an agricultural show with the entertainment aspects of a fair.
The exhibitors are very knowledgeable about agriculture. They're cow people, they're horse people. They know what they're coming to, but it's completely different for the general public. They're coming to learn about agriculture. So finding that balance and making the exhibitors happy as well as the attendants happy, and making it a show that everybody enjoys coming to, because without the exhibitors, we don't have the attendants. Without the attendants, we don't have the exhibitors. So finding that balance for sure is a challenge.
The historic tie between the Provincial Exhibition of Manitoba and the City of Brandon goes beyond mere entertainment. The fair also plays an important role in the economic viability of the region. Brandon Mayor Rick Crest is a longtime supporter of the show, and in past served as the general manager of the Keystone Centre. Crest attributes the show's success to the volunteers and staff who put in the time to bring it all together.
I'm going to say that I'm probably not a whole lot different than hundreds or thousands of people in Western Manitoba that at some point in their life have had an association with the fair beyond just being a spectator there. I think lots and lots of people have been volunteers and board members and exhibitors and participants, and I'm kind of one of those. I've been on the board. I certainly have a past of having been general manager of the Keystone Centre, and to be honest with you, I think I started when I was about 13 years old, hustling drinks in the stands at the Royal Manitoba Winter Fair. So I certainly go back with the fair a long way in a great many capacities, and I'd say that's probably similar for lots and lots of people.
So looking at the fair from a civic standpoint, how important is the Winter Fair in kind of the year, and from a city perspective, how important is the fair?
Well, extremely important. In fact, I would say certainly one of Brandon's most proud calling cards, and indeed, kind of longest history. The organization dates back to the very beginnings of Brandon. It was born, I believe, the same year or the year after that Brandon has. So certainly one of our strongest events, and certainly probably one of our largest annual events, and certainly been going on for 100 years, so it's certainly extremely important from a cultural standpoint. Really defines Brandon, and then naturally the economic impact is very significant. Fills up every hotel room and restaurants and shopping and so on and so forth. So has a great economic impact, but I would say an even stronger cultural impact.
As a former council member and now the mayor of the city, is there a level of comfort in always knowing, or hopefully always knowing that the fair will be there?
Well, I think so, and it's sad then if people kind of take it for granted. And when I was closely associated, we would often say that it's a little every year like kind of somebody just blows the whistle, and everybody is in their posts. If you're running the gate or you're working at the baby animal fair, whatever the case is, people just always come back and do their jobs, and it's pretty amazing. But you'd never like to take that for granted, but there certainly is some comfort to know that there's that level of dedication, that the people are just always there to make it successful.
Crest, like so many others over the years, has built positive family memories being around the Royal Manitoba Winter Fair.
Early stages of my wife and I getting together, and her daughter and I attending the fair when Caitlin was really tiny certainly was a fun and proud thing, and then our own kids have certainly enjoyed it. And again, I like to think that we're emblematic of thousands and thousands of families in Westman that take in the fair, and it's a real positive, exciting time.
So with that said, and after close to a year of build-up, the time has come for the 2016 Royal Manitoba Winter Fair. We're going to be on location all week long to take in some of the sights and sounds of the fair while learning more about how this year's event is shaping up for our competitors. Both General Manager Ron Christensen and Marketing Director Karen Burton felt that the experience of the patron is proved exponentially better by having an interactive as well as historical tie. Christensen was a longtime employee of the federal government's Ag Research Program before joining the Provincial X in 2014.
The preparation process for the fair is it's an ongoing, we have each year we have the last week of March is our Royal Manitoba Winter Fair, and some of the planning for next year's fair was taking place as we were organizing this year's. We look at entertainers, booking judges, booking, attracting our exhibitors for the horse shows, the cattle shows. So it's, this year we're having this judge, so maybe next year we'll have this person, and this person could be our course designer, and we get somebody else next year. So it's almost a never-ending cycle of adding one fairs into the next year's, which components fit for this year, what's going to happen next year, and then we have our two other major events in a year as well, so they all fit into the mix as well. I think we pride ourselves on being a world-class event. The level of competition is some of the best names in the world, in the horse show world, heavy horse world, and in the show jumping world are coming to Brandon for our Royal Manitoba Winter Fair. And part of that is the level of competition, the caliber of judges, the caliber of course designers. So we bring officials from all over the world, and we bring exhibitors from all over North America.
Keeping the fair fresh is a challenge. We celebrate our 110th year next year in 2017, and it's a constant battle to make sure that we are on trend with what people are looking for. And with more and more people getting further removed from the farm, the education aspect, the ag education aspect, becomes really important to the fair, and including that information, because people don't, even though we have horse exhibitors, they may not understand what it is to be a horse rider. So including that education component is really important for us in the fair. Blending agriculture and the urban lifestyle is a challenge, but it's something that we've focused on at the Provincial Exhibition in Manitoba. We want people, the fairs aren't just for people that are involved in agriculture, it's for everyone. And it's for everyone to come and to learn. So we have to make sure that we really simplify everything that's going on at the fair so that people can understand it, that they feel welcome, and that they know that they've come to learn and to enjoy the entertainment that's provided.
We caught up with our friend Hackney driver Bob Scott, and he was able to provide me with a bit of that education Karen Burton was talking about. Scott took the time to give me a lesson on how he harnesses horse and buggy for showing in the ring. So obviously we got a buggy here, a little bit of work to prep it for the evening show. What do we got going on here? It looks pretty basic.
This is the basic cart you're gonna get. This is our road cart. All it is, 2 wheels, shafts. No basket, no 4 wheels, no pivot points. Just hook straight on. Anywhere your horse goes, you're going with it.
Right. With it being only 2 wheels and it doesn't look like it has, it doesn't have a lot in the way of suspension here. Do you bounce a lot in it?
No. If your ground's smooth, you don't bounce. If your ground's rough, you're gonna bounce.
Right.
But no, usually it's fairly smooth. All the buggies are fairly smooth.
Right. How do you hook yourself in, or do you tie yourself down, or what's the case? What holds you in here?
Your feet. You have 2 feet holds each side. That's all you hold you in. You put your feet in the holds and you sit on the back.
Right.
There's no seat belts.
Right. So a little bit of a prayer as well kind of holds you in.
It helps out sometimes. Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah.
Scott, like many of the other competitors at the fair, spends hours daily prepping for a 3 to 5 minute show in the ring.
Well, on the harness, each side will have a loop.
Okay.
One person holds it, holds your horse or pony. You will slide this up behind. It'll slide through the 2 loops and it'll come to a stopper.
Okay.
Then once you're that far in, you'll now grab the tug, feed the tug back through the loops, and hook it into this hook. And each side has a hook.
Okay. So in looking at that, then I'm not a big horse person or whatever, but the whole equation kind of rests on these small hooks here.
Yeah.
So if one of those lets go, the horse could carry on without you.
You could have a wreck, yeah.
Right. Has it ever happened?
No.
Thankfully, no, eh?
No.
There always has been plenty of opportunity for the fair to entertain their guests, be it horse shows, food, attractions, shopping, or history. The show has a lot to offer, and spending a day there only scratches the surface of what you can see or do at the event. So it's day 3 at the Royal Manitoba Winter Fair, and we're going to go into Barn 4 and catch up with Nicole Panna, a barrel racer who's finished 1st and 2nd in her event today. Hey, Nicole.
Hey, Shaun.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah.
So, how's the Winter Fair been so far for you?
It's been good. It's been really good, yeah. I had some tough luck yesterday, but some really good luck today.
Right. How'd you end up today?
1st and 2nd, as far as I know.
Okay. Excellent, excellent. So, coming to a show like this is the first time you've ever came to the Winter Fair, you were saying?
Yes, it is.
What brought you out to a show like the Royal Manitoba Winter Fair?
I've heard actually really good things about the Winter Fair, like that the barrel racing was good, the ground was good, the crowd, everything was just, the excitement in the arena was really good. So I thought, well, I'll give it a try, drive 5 hours out to Manitoba and go try it. We paid a visit to you out in Saskatchewan. Obviously, a horse training there is very different than training a horse to come into an arena with a couple of thousand people. How do you prep a horse to think that that's a good idea to go through? Well, you just kind of, you make sure everything is perfect at home. So you practice makes perfect, basically, at home. And you practice and practice until you think it's perfect and it's automatic and everything is set good, and then you feel that the horse is ready, and they'll tell you. They'll tell you if they're ready or if they're not ready, and when you feel that they're ready, then you enter and you just go. And you know what? My horse, like that horse there, she's 5, like she handles everything really good, and some don't. It depends on the horse too, kind of like people. Like some people can handle pressure and others can't, type thing, right?
Right.
So you just kind of got to go with it, and you have to have a good mindset. You have to go in with a really good mindset and think nothing's going to happen, everything's going to go good, and you just got to go have fun.
As I left Panna to begin her 5.5-hour drive back home to Wood Mountain, I would venture on to take in some more sights and sounds of the fair.
When I tell you to go, you start pulling, because you've already got the slack out. You've had the slack out since we got up here. There we go, folks. A rolled up frying pan, good for hot dogs or very small burritos.
My next stop was to meet up with 16-year-old competitor Brianna Luke. She just competed in her morning run and shared with us a bit about how she felt the event was going thus far.
I moved up in height. Like last year I did an evergreen, which is a 2'6". This year I'm only doing 2'9" and 3 foot. So yeah, we've improved quite a bit, starting to move up in height and getting a lot busier now.
How do you prep a horse for an event that there's going to be crowd at?
Just spending a lot of time with them. Like I am at the barn 7 days a week. I spend a lot of time, we're riding every single day, and he's just kind of used to everything. Like he's used to the people, he's used to the sounds. He's shown quite a bit. Like he's been showing since he was 4, and he's 12 now. So he's kind of had the run around quite a bit. So he's pretty prone to this.
You have your family obviously at the event for you. How important is that to have, you know, mom in the crowd and friends and family in the crowd? And
it's extremely important. They help me out a lot, and they have pretty much gotten me to where I am today. And yeah, they mean a lot having them here.
There's obviously a little bit of camaraderie with, you know, different people that you compete against, but at the same time are likely friends with at these events. How is that to put yourself in a competitive stance with friends, right?
Mainly, like, I wish everyone luck, and honestly, placings don't matter. It's just if you're having fun and you enjoy what you're doing and you're just being a good sport, that's all that really matters.
Looking at, obviously, the show jumping class that people see in the main arena, how does the hunter class differ to that?
So the jumpering is more about time, and you want to have clear rounds. The huntering, it's almost like watching figure skating. Like you want to be very clean, you want everything to be smooth and subtle. You basically just want to have a perfect round, perfect distances to fences. You just want everything to be like clean.
Back in the barns, we visited with Dave Mowland of Fortinbridge in Hampshire, England. Mowland brings an international flavor to the fair and serves as the primary judge for both the Hackney Pony class and the Heavy Horse event.
A show like this is very difficult. It's very hard to say it, but the truth is that the horsemen and the horses over here are miles better than what we've got in the UK. And so I come back here every year to learn, to watch them and to learn from these guys and have the honour of judging. Fantastic. Everybody has their own opinion. My opinion is I want to see a horse coming in and want to do its job. I want head up, I want good action, and I want them covering ground. I don't like horses that just come in and stand there and do nothing. I don't like horses that are flat or they shuffle along with their feet. I want to see head up and a horse really enjoying its work and getting on. And obviously the multiples, you just times that up. If you've got 6, I want to see all 6 going. I want to see the leaders very smart, not doing too much work, just in their place, right back to the bigger wheelers where they're pulling the wagon, but they all want to be there and they've come to have the game.
Talk a little bit about maybe and as far as a contrast, judging hackneys. Is it the same sort of thing, or are you looking for something a little different there?
Yeah, it is slightly different. I mean, the hackneys are very precise when they come in. They've got their exceptional gaits, and there's not a great deal of difference between them. So that's quite hard. So you're tending to sit back and just wait for one of them to maybe make a mistake, maybe cock in the head or miss a gait or not do a gait or maybe not walk or maybe not back. So they're more precise. They are a pony and they're quite accurate in what they're doing. Whereas the heavies, no, there's a bigger, much bigger variety in the heavies, really. You've just got such a great wealth of horsemen up here. You've got guys that are professional horsemen, and when those guys are professionals and then their job is to produce horses, they're phenomenal. They know how to produce the best, bring the best and show the best, and for me that's what I'm here for. I want to learn from the best, so it hopefully will make me better when I go back to the UK and try and show mine.
Entry number 405, Lone Portion, Jim Lane on the line from Royal Manitoba.
It is very different over here. Us in the UK, we're very much about the turnout. So we're cleanliness. We have to polish our wagon. Our grooms have to be immaculately dressed to match us, even polish our boots. They will look for anything in the UK to put you down, and they're less about the horsepower. Over here, you're all about the horsepower. The rest, as long as it's fit and it's safe, is not so important. That's all we're interested in. That's me through and through. I'm in it for the horses. The polishing, I'm not so in it. Some people just say, no, it must be, you've got to keep the standards. For me, as long as the harness fits and it's tidy and it's presented well, that's good enough. In the UK, we were polished for 8 hours to get a set of harness ready to go in with just 2 horses.
Our last stop was with one of the competitors in the marquee event at the Royal Manitoba Winter Fair. The heavy horse class is the most popular event at the Royal and showcases upwards of 70+ horses in their evening finale. Rob Fargo of Kennedy, Saskatchewan has been coming to the fair since he was a small child and is working hard to carry on this tradition with his family. His grandchildren are 4th-generation fairgoers, and the pride he has in his Clydesdale team is evident in the time they spend readying for the evening show. Fargo, like so many others, has high praise for the quality of competition at the Royal Manitoba Winter Fair.
Well, it's fantastic. I consider it the best show probably in Western Canada, maybe all of Canada. The best facilities. It's very well organized. It's you just can't ask for a better place to show. It's marvelous, and it's even greater because it's even the people that you show with, like it's all local people. It just makes the whole thing that much better. for us anyways, it is a total family thing. Like, my kids are totally involved, my girls are involved, and now my grandkids are all involved, and they all help with everything. They do right from doing chores to getting the horses ready, right to the ring, to driving, and you know, they all take part in everything. And for me, that's why I do it. That's why I do it, because it is a family thing, and this is what we do. There is a competition aspect to it, and I always try, especially with the kids, it's hard for the kids, you know, to go out there and not get that elusive red ribbon. You have to try and install in them that, yes, it's nice to get that red ribbon, but just because you don't get it, that doesn't mean there's somebody out there that's going to come and say to you afterwards, you know what, you did a really good job out there. And that means more than anything, both to the kids and to me. Like, and it's yeah, like I say, the competition is there, but it means more when you come out of the ring or come back to the stalls and people come and say, like, I liked yours the best. Like, they were, and I mean, yes, like I said, the judge is out there to do a job, and he picks the ones he likes. You know, that's peanuts. You know, that's a very small part of the whole big picture.
Rob Fargo was right in his statement. The fair is more than just ribbons. It's education. It's family. It's a connection point to our past. And most importantly, it's the opportunity to give something to future generations. And at the end of the day, sharing in that is what really makes the experience worthwhile.